I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
My Talawers, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning, all depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. Happy Sunday. I hope it's a happy Sunday. Let me go ahead and see if I can turn on my chat so it pops up on the screen. If you guys have anything that you want to get off your chest, please do go ahead and do so. If it sounds like I'm whispering, it is because I'm trying to whisper. It is pretty late my end. It's about what, 11 at night, so almost, well, edging closer and closer to the dreaded Monday morning. So let me know how your weekend's been or how your final part of your weekend's going. If you're making your way into work, I do hope that you make it there safe and unharmed, and also in the reverse as well, because making it through your doors is an underrated blessing. Where do we start? I'm going to need you guys to guide me on this one. Where do we start? Do I need to do a little warm up with you guys? I don't like when you guys don't say much in the comment section. So if you're tuning in, do drop to make sure that I've done exactly that. Well, it seems like I have. I don't think it's me. I think it's you guys. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty earlier on. So let me know if there's any technical difficulty your end, all right? Because I did have some technical difficulties earlier on. My audio went completely, and I was also watching my last live stream back on replay, which it's something I don't do a lot, and I saw that I was lagging. I didn't like that, so do let me know as well. Myself and Sir Rich had a bit of a lagging issue. I don't know if it's to do with our internet connection. We're not living in under the same roof, so I don't know. So let me know how I'm sounding in the comment section. All right, guys. I look all right on my screen, but maybe for you guys, that may not be the case. So let me know if there's anything that I need to do in the comment section. And if there's anything you guys want me to dive into while I am on air, then please do go ahead and tap me on my shoulder, and I'd be more than happy to do so. Plenty of football over the weekend. I'm not really sure where to start. Where do we start? I think perhaps I can go ahead and I was watching a couple of the games. Where do I even start? See if I can bring something up my end. If we want to start with some women's football talk, I'm still waiting on you guys to kind of guide me, but you guys are very quiet in the comment section, so I'm not really sure which way to start this one off. Aside from, if I look at the WSL table, obviously that's top tier of women's football in England. Looks like our dreams may finally come to fruition. I can't speak for all of you guys, but I think you guys know by now. Been wanting City to win the league for the longest. Probably sounds weird to you guys because obviously I'm not a Man City fan, but I do want Bunny Shaw to lift the WSL title, and I've been saying for the last couple of seasons now, last 2 seasons I should say, that I think Man City would have won the league had it not been for some untimely injuries, significant injuries to a few of their key players, obviously Bunny being one of them. But I think this season is their season. They're at the top of the table, guys. They've got what, 36 points in their back pocket, goal difference of 25. Closest club to them is Chelsea, 26 points. 16 is their goal difference, and that was a little bit of a surprise there in the London derby played yesterday. The Blues losing to Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. I think that's the first time they've lost to Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. It's been a while. Usually when I see that fixture, I kind of just roll my eyes and just move on. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a long day. You know, you're up against Millie Bright. It's not going to be a pretty task. But Arsenal, I think, surprised me, perhaps surprised a couple of you guys there as well in the comment section. So Bunny Shaw and Manchester City sitting pretty at the top of the table where the WSL is concerned. Long may it continue. Love to see them get their hands nothing personal against Chelsea. See Chelsea win the league, and I don't think my club's going to. So it's not even. Comment, big up yourself, Paul Watkins. You good as an Arsenal fan. Sound right? I'm not going to let this get. Do is find a new escapism. I can't emotions. I need a new escapism. So for 2020, find a new escapism and let it not be football, because I'm not. If we're talking about, I don't know what's going on with my connection, guys. I don't know if it's just me, but Paul Watkins, let me know in the me or if I'm drifting in and out. If I need to restart the stream, do let me know. I look fine on my main screen, but when I switch and I look at what you guys can see, it's not looking good. So let me know if that's just a me issue or if you guys are experiencing some lagging or if I need to do anything my end. So back over to the men's team. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, this comment here. They definitely didn't deserve maximum points today. And if I'm being honest, would they have deserved a draw? No, they wouldn't have deserved a draw. I started watching the first half and then I segued and just made my way back to my usual hub, which is obviously over on DG's channel, Deluded Guna. And I just like, all right, let me just go and watch what you're saying and try to calm myself down. In terms of calming myself down, that definitely didn't work. One of the most uncomfortable match. And I think of all the topics that's being discussed about Mikel Arteta, I think DG probably sums it up best. And I out there pertaining to whether Mikel Arteta is a good manager. I think, yeah, but echoing what DG has said, is he a winning manager? Obviously, only time will tell. But if he doesn't do it this season in terms of winning the Premier League, that is, then is he the person to take Arsenal forward? At this point, I'm feeling to say definitely not. You're just not going to do it. And I don't really want to draw some players out, but I don't know what, obviously sometimes things that goes on in your personal life subsequently can play a role in what goes on when you show up to work. And for work, the football pitch is the player's office. So I'm not trying to scapegoat no one, but this is what season where I'm trying to secure maximum points in my back pocket, 3 points, and is the second time within the space of a few weeks where your captain, the person that's supposed to be the leader, is being hooked. Pretty sure he got hooked against Liverpool and he got hooked again today. And it's just like, again, I'm not trying to scapegoat Odegaard, but you are the captain. You're the one that's supposed to be grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck. Same goes for the likes of your Bukayo Saka and so on, but you're not doing it. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm not going to jump the gun and give knee-jerk reaction and say, oh, you're going to be typical Arsenal and capitulate, because I think it's perhaps too soon to be saying that. But if it is the same old Arsenal of yesterday, where it's just like you completely fall apart after sitting on top of the table for so long, then something's got to give, either where the Mikel Arteta is concerned, or I definitely think, even irrespective of what happens at the end of the season, it's time to just move on from a couple of those players there. Like, you're just good enough, and yeah, all for sentiments and so on. But at the very same time, like, trying to win the league, and it don't look like you're going to be the person to get me to do that, especially with looking at a couple of the players. And it's I think for Arteta as well, it's the trying to find the stubbornness. It's probably stubbornness is the right word. Like, how many times are you going to do the same thing? Like, can you not give Eze a run out? Can you not now say, okay, I've seen enough from my captain, let me do something different? Again, I'm not trying to scapegoat the guy, but you're my captain. You're supposed to be my leader. You're supposed to be the last man on that pitch. Two of the biggest games of the season so far, again, against Liverpool and Manchester United, funny enough, both at the Emirates, and you're being hooked. You're not supposed to be hooked. You're supposed to be going the full 90. So what's that? Just overall woeful. Saying 3 points. So fair play to he did what he they deserve their victory. That's 2 now. Manchester for points in your back. You can't. They just have to take that one on the chin and move on. Need to come out of the studio and come back in, guys. Again, do let me know if I need to do that. I'm going to probably change the topic slightly, potentially look at the Reggae girls, but more so I think the U17 Reggae girls. I don't like the way I'm looking on my screen. Let me check my phone to see if I need to exit the studio and come back in. I think this is probably an internet issue that I'm facing here, guys. Let's see. Do I need to come back out of this? I feel like I need to. So let me just check something on my phone. Bear with me. So while I am doing that, funny enough, on the phone it looks all right. So maybe it's just my screen acting. Anyways, the U7 women, they're doing the qualifiers at the moment, aren't they? Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Following Guyana, I definitely haven't been, so I'm not going to pretend if I have been. I or maybe just play today. I went ahead and scored the game. Pages of game. Fourth minute with an absolute shot side of the box. Lovely goal to and Jamaica. Guyana surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I think their player that stood out for me for Guyana was their number 9. I can't remember her name. Their number 9 is a tidy player. Some similarities between were probably not going to get into. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my eyes on my phone here, guys. I don't know. I feel like I might have to exit the studio and come back in. I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to exit this studio because I'm not really liking how this is looking. I don't even know if it's going to make a difference, but I'm going to exit my studio for a couple seconds and then come back in. All right, so don't go nowhere. I'll be with you guys in a couple seconds. All right, I'm back. I don't like stream with poor quality. So my stream at the moment is looking like some poor quality. So it's control. Do apologize. All right. About almost talking about when it's time to do you just hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe, sir. There for a reason. Not sure how you guys are feeling. Continental play in March. I've already gone over just like stuff. Want them to qualify. Will qualify. I think because they said they higher during the I think in the I will actually suggest sports. This live stream is a bit of a funny one because I remember at the time when I saw a particular article, which I'm sure you guys have come across by now because it is quite outdated. I remember calling Ball Pre, and the reason why I called Ball Pre, massive big up to Ball Pre, by the way. If you're not familiar with his channel, at some point do head over to YouTube and search Ball Pre TV and subscribe to his channel. I remember several weeks back, I think towards definitely the latter stages of last year I was on his channel, and I don't even know how the conversation came up, but we were talking about the introduction of new players coming into the team. I pretty much stood firm. I think it was myself and someone else, and me, I can't remember the person's name, so I do apologize if I've gotten your name wrong, but I may have myself, Jason, and we were basically, let me know, basically I think it would be a good idea is after a certain absolutely hammered in the chat. So when a certain popped up on my phone, I think it was from ESPN one up. I didn't read the article, just saw a couple words that jumped board, and I was like, I sit on the up. And so whether or not we think new be brought into the national team, be interesting to hear what you guys have to say about that, because I don't think we've gone. So let me know what you guys make of that. I don't know what the hell's going on with my internet tonight. I might have to give them a call in the morning if this continues. All I can really do is apologize for the poor internet, guys. I'm wondering if I should switch to my mobile internet instead, because as I said, if it's irritating you guys, do let me know. It's definitely getting under my skin, but I'm just going to crack on. All right, if it's getting a little bit too much for you guys, do let me know. So back to what I was saying there. As I said, gave Ballpree a call couple of weeks back, and I had my I told you so moment with regards to the articles. So I'm pretty sure you guys are well in the loop with a few of the articles that's been floating around. This one here from ESPN around November. I do have a another article that I will be going through with you guys that pretty much goes hand in hand with the ESPN article. And I think the follow-up from the ESPN article, for me, I think this one came out around the 13th of January this year. So obviously as fresh as it can be. So let's go ahead and look at that ESPN article. And I want to hear you guys' opinion. Obviously, I'm going to be giving you my opinion. It is an outdated post. You guys have already. All right, so let's just go ahead and bring up my screen, find that ESPN article. Let's just go ahead and for the internet, keep it clean, be as you be. Let's jump right into this one. So this article here, I'm sure you guys can see this on the screen. Yes, you can. This one here was published. Go ahead and read the article, you guys, in case you haven't seen it yourself. Be doing reading, straining your eyes. It says Mason Greenwood at World Cup would be a loss, not players. It says there, Jamaica players as Hayden and Amara have voiced their unease at the prospect of Mason squad before the World Cup, and it will be a farce. Greenwood, who has one cap for England, switched allegiance to Jamaica earlier this year, and in August received his passport, opening the door for him to represent the nation of his grandparents. The 24-year-old did not accept for World Cup qualifiers against Trinidad and Tobago and Bermuda in September, and is keeping his international options open. Jamaica Football Federation President Michael told The Athletic he still hopes Greenwood will represent the Reggae Boyz before the World Cup, as he was to get his documentation sorted out. That, however, may not have gone down well with his Jamaican mates, who have worked hard to leave the nation on the brink of the World Cup with Intercontinental playoffs against New Zealand and potentially the Congo in March. And it says here, and this sort of thing, the first quote comes from so Isaac then that is he states here, I've only played for Jamaica for a year and there was some resistance to me when I started, but I played 12 can see my passion and the way I play the game. Hayden, formerly of Arsenal and Newcastle United, now at Queen's Park Rangers, totally athletic. I gave everything on the pitch, and I wanted to be there to help Jamaica to Cup. The JFF are obsessed with names and trying to recruit the best team on JFF. If a player is willing to commit for the last round of if a player is not willing to commit for the last round, fine, unless I do not see why they should group in or at the end of the season if qualify. There is no should be allowed. And to wrap up the rest of the article before I touch on a couple of the things that was said by Hayden and subsequently mates, Bell, it was suspended by Manchester United in January 2022 over allegations relating to a young woman and faced charges including attempted rape and assault before the Queen Prosecution Service announced the case had been discontinued in February 2023. He is rebuilding his career at Marseille. Obviously, you know that's over in France. Says here in the article that the quality of the player, his numbers, what he's producing is of the highest level, he then admitted, but it comes down to principle and integrity. If players can just World Cup because of a World Cup, it made the whole thing a farce. That would say a lot about the player and the organization for allowing it to happen. And it does conclude by getting some words there from his teammate Bell. It says, Charlton Athletic defender Mari Bell said, Greenwood or any other player Everton's Dwight Neil also reckoning joining up it will be controversial. I said, many of us have put our blood, sweat, and tears into playing for the nation with a lot of things in the background. He continued by saying, we had to deal with all of that. It wouldn't seem fair. The people who have been through the whole process and will never get a chance to play at the World Cup, it's a bit controversial. He also said a group conversation would need to be had or any new player joined, definitely, especially when it's a World Cup. He stated, you want good vibes and energy around the team. You wouldn't want any distance between the players. Said something here about some he has not spoken to Green and made clear Marseille forward is not in his thoughts. The start space day. I still don't believe that they don't want him to represent England. I think they're probably just afraid of any potential backlash to come. So where do we start with this one? I'm going to go back to keep it there on screen before I move on. I think it's very similar to what I said again over on Ballpree TV a while back now, some several weeks back. I definitely can understand where Hayden and Bell's coming from in terms of producing players at this stage of the World Cup qualifiers. Obviously, they're entitled to share their opinion, as are the fans and so on. Federation, we're rolling over the federation's stands, and we also know where Ruler Speed stands in that regard. But one thing I will say that before it slips my mind is I do appreciate the honesty and transparency from both the players. Again, these are a couple of things that I've said. When you look at situations as such, I know everyone's different, but I look at it and I have to apply empathy. So long before the likes of Hayden and Bell came out and said X, Y, Z, these are a couple of was trying to point out to you guys that it's very easy to say just go and replace today, as I've stated time and you are dealing with players that have made an abundance of sacrifices. You may not care about these sacrifices, but the players obviously care about the sacrifices that they laid out. Sometimes we do criticize players for not laying down committed, but that do show up ones from overseas that certainly see the when they're on a the story. One example that I do comes to sacrifices that these players make is seeing these players go from being boys to men, and you're going through a transition. You see them become parents, first-time parents, young parents, and I always say that the sacrifice is clearly there because they obviously have at times left their missus and their young family at home just so that they go ahead and represent the national team. And I'm sure that in itself comes with a lot of struggle because each parent journey is obviously different to the other. You don't know what it's like for the families that they're leaving behind, the struggles that they're going through. You don't know if the missus, their mother, if their child's dealing with any PTSD, which is common when you become a parent, be it a first-time parent or not. Everyone's journey is different. So you've seen chapters of their lives where they've definitely put their country over their families. I can't speak place, but what you can in reports and also some of the stuff that they share across their own social media, you can definitely see times where they have made some incredible sacrifices and commitments to come and represent their national team. And I know some people look at it and the first thing a few people are saying, oh, you're being emotional. So are you now telling me that the players are also being emotional? Is it a case of us saying that as fans, we're not always right and we should actually listen to players because it could stating to come and get on to potential consequences may look like if we don't listen. Okay, as much as we as fans may think we know it all and we're right and we're happy, perhaps it's a good time to what the fans, the players are in this. It's not just one player he's singing from the same hymn sheet. We're going to talk about another player that's voiced his opinion recently. I think over the last, I'm not really sure article there that we're going to touch on, but definitely, as I said, I can appreciate the transparency and the honesty from Amari Bell and also Isaac Hayden, and it's difficult for me to argue against that. I don't really care who they are. Play. I'm going to double down on what I've said before. Like there should have been a cutoff point to say, okay, if you cannot show up to represent us between now and then unfortunately you can't represent us at a later date for this particular cycle, because again, the sacrifices that the players are put in for Jamaica definitely should be overlooked. A couple of the stuff they touched on in that article again says Maribel talked about many of in our blood, sweat, and tears to play for the national team, and we don't know what each individual struggle looks like. They don't know what their individual struggle looks like. Again, I do think that as Hayden has said, it does put some question into the integrity. It definitely will be controversial if a couple of players did for whatever you want to call it, players, that's down to you guys to decide. I don't really know which way you guys want to flip it. Before I move on to the next on, in terms of controversy, I can see where the controversy from, and I can also see where the question for is the integrity, because we previously heard a few times where our interim concern is Rudolph Speed being quite transparent and honest, and you only be appreciative of that, where he's made it no secret that if the best player is available, whether that's we have qualified and they've not laid down the foundation of putting the work for us to qualify, that he will be calling us. And at the time when he said that, I think that was on Ball Pre TV, I was thinking to myself, how do you feel as a player hearing that regardless of what you do now to help us to qualify, you may not be going to the World Cup? And we all know that's every player's dream. Every player's dream to play on the biggest of stage, whether that's League or the World Cup. Obviously, nothing tops playing for the World Cup for your respective country. I think the controversy and the conversation integrity comes about. It's all good for the gaffer, Mr. Speed, to say that he wants the best player representing the national team, a nationalist, and I'm not here to debate against that. I can't tell you what to call yourself, but disrespect, you know, if you wanting what's best for Jamaica, thoughts with him as the coach. I think if you're a nationalist and if you want for Jamaica with players, then you include yourself. I don't think to be excluded from that conversation, because if it was just about wanting what's best for Jamaica so that you enhance our chances of qualifying for the World Cup, then that should have started from the top. It goes down to the team. So what he should have done, if he's being honest, and I trust that he's being honest, is we heard before that there was some conversation there pertaining to John Herdman, the former the for the Canada men's and women's team. That we all know about his CV, gone through that already, but we all heard about him potentially having some conversations there with Jamaica, which got a section of the fan base excited at the prospect. Oh, you know, this is probably the head coach that will be coming in and, you know, hopefully taking us over and firstly beat New Caledonia and then Congo, because he's a manager regards to his track records of qualifying for the World Cup, especially when you look at where Canada is concerned. And obviously had that one timed out, missing out on John Herdman. I don't know if that was just something that they put out there just to get us excited to say, hey, look, we tried, we had a conversation, but perhaps it wasn't. For me, again, it's so well and good saying that you want the best players to represent as an analyst, etc. But if it's you stand by and you want to give your country the very best chance of representing team, it's just about the players. It's also making sure that you hire the best coach, not the best coach in Jamaica or the best coach in the Caribbean, but potentially extending that to the region and also to the world. And are you the best coach available at the time in the football is concerned? I don't think many will say yes. Most certainly no. When you go outside of CONCACAF football, Caribbean football, and so on. So did get John, and since then been snatched up, so he has made his way over to Indonesia. So interesting to see what he can achieve with Indonesia. I'm sure they'll be looking to see if they can qualify for 2030. Now, if he does go ahead and do what at the moment it looks to be thinkable, he does qualify 2030, and unfortunately, let's say God forbid we don't qualify some as well. And again, definitely has more questions to answer than anything, because if you're going to be trying to poach the best players to represent the national team, then I think you should have been doing the same with regards to hiring the best coach to represent the hopefully what will be a second successful World Cup qualification, first time since 1998. Do I think that they can? I've already gone over that on my last live stream, though. I hope and pray to God that they can pull it off. Doesn't matter what you think of Speed as a head coach, what he's doing with Cavaliers, what he's done with Cavaliers. I think we can all, tip our hats off to him for what he's done with Cavaliers and their success just in Jamaica, but also extending that and bringing for me the greatest, the GOAT. I have my own personal GOAT, that is Ronaldinho. Outside of that, I think you would, well, you're not going to all agree, but it's Messi, isn't it? But he brought Messi to Jamaica, and we all saw that in our lifetime, and that's because of him and his work. Now, club football and international football isn't the same, but as I said, is that a little bit of a hypocrisy saying that you want the best players to represent Jamaica, but the same can't be said to you? And this is why I said we may need to the Jamaica Football Federation, not even may, should be looking to hire a sports psychologist. If you look at a couple of the things there that was mentioned in that article there with regards to bringing high profile players on board, he said here, Amara Bell said here that he also said a group conversation would need to be had before new players join. And I imagine that is probably best done in a scenario where you have someone who's I don't know if a mediator is the right word, but let's just say again, they push forward and they get themselves a sports psychologist. I think this is a perfect opportunity. This is an opportunity that is probably best managed by a neutral individual, i.e., a psychologist. It goes on to say, especially when it's a World Cup, you want good vibes and good energy around the squad. You wouldn't want any distance between the players. So again, backs my point up by saying we do need a sports psychologist, because I'm not being funny. And I think Mr. B, he's not in no position to be walking into a changing room and saying, we're going to be introduced this player because, or we've put this player on board because he is the best player available for us at our disposal right now, the way he wants to work it, and it will give us the best chance qualifying for Jamaica, meanwhile ushering someone else out the door. Because if I'm one of the person, I'm thinking, well, why didn't you get the best coach? It's well and good again getting the best player, but why didn't you also get the best coach? And that's why I say I double it down triple times by saying you need a sports psychologist, because you all need to have a group conversation. You all need to have a conversation where this is certain situations before is on board. I don't know whether that's 1 player, 2 player, 3 player, 4 player, 5 player. You're not bringing the environment to be successful. I think that is a risk. That's like the Russian roulette, and I would not encourage anyone to play that game. That is dangerous. Don't do it. So again, psychology is definitely needed so that we can get those issues out the way, because there's definitely some issues there, especially if you're looking to bring new players. It's not just Isaac Hayden and the name eludes me. Amari Bell. Literally just looking at his name just now. Sometimes brain takes a little wonder, just goes for a walk. And yeah, so it's not just those 2 players, as I already predicted before that article came up, that there's going to be some players not going to be happy with that. And what will that look like for us in the future? I'm going to touch on that. But before I do so, let's and bring up the call, which I think kind of sits side by side with what we have seen Isaac Hayden and also coming into the team. We also had a recent article from FIFA that is Andre Blake, and it does say in the headline, hopefully you guys can see that. Should I remove banner so you guys can see that clearly? Marcus, big up yourself. I will be turning my attention to the comment section. It does say here, one love, one club, one World Cup, Andre Blake hoping for dream come true 2026 and beyond. Now, I'm not going to read the complete article because some of it is really relevant to the conversation. So I will just focus on what's relevant to us, right? And it says here, in perspective, 2025 was a great year for me. He told me last week, obviously speaking to the reporter, for both club and country, there's definitely challenging times in 2025. So for me, it's just important to take whatever I need to take from 25. I need to flush and understand that it's 2026, it's a new year, and again, shows to show the need for a sports psychologist, because I don't think it's disappointment of failing to automatically qualify for a sports psychologist. The captain is probably in a better position to get over that mental barrier. This is important, it's a new year and it's a new, flush out that disappointment out of your system. Not every player is able to do that, especially if they don't have the right support network around them to help them to do so, be it at club level losses concerned. Sometimes even when you have support from your club loved ones, they're not mental health experts at the end of the day, so they can only do so much, right? So I'll continue. It says here the biggest opportunity for Blake is the World Cup. Jamaica will play in Intercontinental playoff, looking to beat New Caledonia, then Congo. Parents the men's World Cup for the first time since a debut at 1998. And we all know how this one panned out in Jamaica, the office. So I don't really think I need to go to this particular paragraph. I just focus on the quotes from the captain himself. He says we still have a chance. Obviously, it's not going to be easy, but we kind of put ourselves in this position, and we're going to have to go out there and fight for our lives to get where we want to be. But definitely stuck ourselves up there, didn't we? Hard to feel sorry for ourselves because we didn't make it easy. He continued by saying it was a devastating moment for me in Kingston. I feel like the entire country was at the game. The atmosphere was there, energy was there. The only thing missing from the game was us scoring a goal or two to win. Continues by saying after the game, Steve McLaren resigned as Jamaica's manager. Once he got to the locker room, he in and he at that moment announced that he was going to step away again. I mean, that was a shock or cracking. I'm not sure if they caught with McLaren was gearing up to some players that probably one, you got to deal with the disappointment of not automatically qualifying. That's and then that I'm not sure if it's a disappointment, but to kind of hear that head coach is stepping away. How you felt about that? Your mental health is concerned, like a kick in the teeth, whether that was the right job or not. I don't know if it felt like, how dare you do something so soon, or when you walk away. One only the players can really answer that. Continuing with the article, which says the Jamaican Football Federation opted to turn to much more familiar rule of speed. Long-time coach in Jamaica, which with Miguel Coley, Michael Donaldson named as assistants, and Aaron Lawrence, who went to the 1998 World Cup as goalkeeper coach. And to wrap that article here, where we're talking about New Caledonia, hopefully move on to the final game against the Congo, and fingers crossed defeat them. It's there from the Captain Fantastic, Andre Lake. He stated, we have the pieces for sure, we just haven't been able to bring it together. For me, the important thing is we need the best players, we need the right players. As soon as we're able to create that system of who we want to be, we find players to them, I think we're going to be really successful once we get those things right. Also continues by saying there is no guarantee that happens in March or that it happens in Blake's career, yet this is how Blake has operated for years. His coaches come and go for the union, and for the Jamaican national team. He listens to his gloves and runs back between the sticks. So pinning it and tracking, focusing on this particular paragraph, it's not word for word with regards to what his teammates have said, Caden and also Marvel, but it's kind of, in my opinion, singing from the same hymn sheet. I'll go over that particular quote there from Andre Blake. He says here, sure we just put it together. Hopefully, interim gaffers in the backroom staff go ahead and do the necessary. Says here again, the most important thing is we don't need the best players, we need the right players. And he also spoke about the system, and in the right system, and then on stage, kind of similar to what his teammates have said, which is why I'm saying listen to the players rather than being high and mighty and thinking we know what's best for the team and could this potentially pose any further risk down the line. But we'll be sounding potentially like a broken record, because I do think it could potentially pose some risk somewhere down the line. I will say this in case I haven't said it before, that I don't think that the messaging and the communication coming from the horse's mouth, so 3 players there in total, one being the captain and the other being Hayden and Bell, I don't think it should just fall on deaf ears. I can't see players at this moment in their careers. This may very well, I should think, for those aging players there, that this is their last chance to qualify for a World Cup. I can't see them wanting to self-sabotage their dreams of qualifying for a World Cup by saying exactly what they've said with regards to new players coming on board. Surely they want to be able to give themselves the best opportunity of being able to do so. And I do think, though, that it's a couple of the things there that the players have said with regards to the environment. That's definitely something there that should be addressed and not taken for granted, because we've definitely seen that there is evidence there that, with regards to what Blake has said, pertaining to we don't need the best players. I don't think that's something where the World Cup qualification is concerned. Obviously, some people will argue against it and say, well, clearly we do. But I guess the counter argument to that is there is no guarantee that bringing on what you guys believe to be the best players, again, whether that's 1 player, 2 player, 4, 5, 6 players, there's no guarantee that they're going to come into a system. Well, is there a system? No, they're going to come into an environment and automatically click. And the idea that we can come up clutch and get on the most recent it was a couple years back now, 2022, 2023 cycle, I think, where we went away and defeated Canada 3-2. Both are coming clutch with his race and Bobby Reed, and we all know how that still in the fan base. So we come up clutch more when it mattered, and we do that with superstars in the team. Yes, you've got some high profile names, recognizable names outside our region and so on, but we didn't do that with superstar players. But yes, been able to get over the line to qualifying for the cup. So I think what Beck said, it does hold water, but still not needing the best player. If we backtrack just a little, I need to close my window, but if I not needing the best players, I think if we backstep a little bit and even look at the Unity Cup, we ourselves, if you disagree, ourselves that look, we name played the name start the right team. Similar things saying Blake and subsequent identical, it's not identical to what there is definitely, we don't necessarily need the best history, because the men's team where the World Cup is concerned in this previous cycle, this cycle was Fat Lady hasn't sung it yet, so there's a chance that they very well go ahead and what minutes seems to be a believe that is a unachievable task, that they're not going to go ahead and qualify for the World Cup. But definitely for me, their opinions and their honesty most certainly matters. I'm not sure if it's something that Ruler Speed is going to be taking on board. Probably not. He's probably going to go in one. Does do that, and he's definitely going to be rubbing up some of those players the wrong way, because you don't need to do no think pieces or try to argue for or against. Are you the best coach to coach the Jamaica national team? I think if you put in a poll, you probably don't want to read the results yourself, because I think it's fair to say how the fan base feels about the interim head coach. But again, if you look at, again, focusing on what the trio of players have stated most recently, in regards to not needing the best players. I do wonder about what could happen if, the president, Michael Ricketts, and who does Sean and what the players are saying, what that could do for the environment of the team. And I guess one thing that really pops up in my mind is different examples pertaining to where having the best players haven't paid dividends. And I can't compare ourselves to England because there's levels to this and we're not on England's level, but I'm sure we're all familiar with England. They did not achieve, and that was in the world. And when they came together, don't like play for each other, whether that's intentional or unintentional. I'm just wondering, do we really want to roll the dice and do something quite similar where players are probably ushered out and you rub another player up the wrong way because he's probably thinking, why are you here? You don't deserve to be here. I'm not going to pass the ball to you. Have we seen that in football? At club level, we have definitely seen that at club level where we're just teammates like, look, I'm not going to pass in the ball, or don't pass in the ball type of thing. Together again, there is no, hold on, I just saw something. Is it me or is the audio going in and out? I don't know. Is the audio going in and out? Let me know if the audio is going in and out. I think I'm having some technical difficulty. If the audio is going in and out, thank you for that. I didn't see your comment earlier. Thank you for that. I hope it isn't going in and out. Let me know if it is going in and out. I think it's more of a technical issue my end. I hope it's okay. I hope it's okay, but tell me if it's still going in and out. But it's probably me, not you. You're in New York. You've got some snowy weather. So again, back over to what I was saying with regards to rolling that dice, taking a gamble, which could lead to a toxic atmosphere in what appears to be an already don't want to exaggerate, but an environment that needs to be worked on. Definitely needs some more unity where the Reggae Boyz is concerned. So I guess the perfect example for that one there, where having the best players together don't always prove dividends, is the England's golden generation. Now, this article here from The Guardian focuses on the England golden generation. It's an interview with the Liverpool legend, that is Steven Gerrard, and he was on the Rio Ferdinand podcast. And back then, if you had said Rio Ferdinand have a podcast, which wasn't a thing when we were growing up, but if you were saying that Rio Ferdinand and Stevie G would be friends, people were looking at you and thinking, are you okay? Big ups to yourself, Ball Pre. Make sure you like and subscribe to Ball Pre TV. So if we go ahead and look at this article here from The Guardian, it says here in black and white headline, England's golden generation were egotistical losers, says Steven Gerrard, Stevie G. Steven Gerrard has described himself and these other stars of England's so-called golden generation as egotistical losers who could not see beyond club-level rivalries and did not deliver on their potential because of an unfriendly environment. I just pick out the most important information here, right, before we segue with the rest of the show. The former Liverpool captain, speaking as a guest on the Rio Ferdinand Presents podcast, also admitted that he hated being away with the England squad. Hate is a pretty strong word, so that goes to show like these guys definitely could not stand each other. He state, as the article states here, Gerrard won 114 caps, first time in 2000. Wow. 2000 is crazy, and he appeared at 6 major tournaments, yet success eluded him, with one of the major issues being the clicks from Liverpool, United, and Chelsea. Gerrard had the like Owen Carragher within Liverpool, whereas that Ferdinand, Neville, Beckham, Scholes, and Rooney. Chelsea, on the other hand, had Cole and Terry and Lampard. Gerrard struggled to dovetail in midfield with Lampard, also failed to fit in. It's unbelievable to think that this was a thing, but it's quite clear if you watch England back then that they just weren't friends, and you could see that on the field of play. So there was a problem with the system, kind of similar things that that Andre Blake touched on. Andre Blake, in that article there that I brought up earlier on, spoke about the system. Andre Blake there said that that we don't need the best players. So I guess in what he was trying to say, that the most important thing for us right now, just touching and paraphrasing what Blake has said, is that you need to find players to fit the system, right? And they again did say that we don't need the best players, the right players. So back to the article, the Guardian, there are natural essential mid, but deep. I think we can recall. I think we were all egotistic on his debate, and they look like this, and that they've been best mates for 20 years. Probably you obviously referred him because he was doing his podcast, and you was a playing for 24, didn't work with. Was it ego? Was on, hold on. I think I'm having some call difficulties. I may have to switch in here, guys. And switch and realize that I got kicked off my stage. I'm gonna switch to my instead. Hold on. What was the last thing that I said with you guys? I don't even know what was the last thing I said. Like, someone help me out. What was the last thing I said? I'm having an absolute nightmare with this internet. I think we should be good to go. What was the last thing I said, guys? I don't really want to repeat myself again. So maybe Marcus, maybe you can tell me, or Ball Pre, maybe you can tell me what was the last thing I said. I'm not sure what was the last thing I said, but I think, not sure if that one got to the end of what I was saying, but just focusing on a couple of the stuff there that Steven Gerrard said. Definitely, Andre Blake saying we don't need the best players. Okay, so Andre Blake saying we don't need the best players. And also, thank you. And also hearing from one of the greatest players of all time, Steven Gerrard, talking about, life in camp with a couple of his former England teammates, a couple of the best players, the greatest players in the Premier League day and age, coming together for England and just not getting along. He spoke about just how much he loved playing for England, but he just clearly hated that environment. Egotistical is a couple of the words that he used to describe his England teammates pertaining to why they weren't successful. And I think one of the most powerful statement there from Steven Gerrard. I may have to backtrack a little bit so you guys could catch wind of what he said. One of the most powerful statements here, Steven Gerrard said that there was an Rio Ferdinand put it to Gerrard that there was an underlying bitterness between the players. Yeah, bitterness, a little bit of hatred. Gerrard said it's a bit mature, it's a bit immature, but also there should have been more emphasis on the staff. Go, listen, you need to forget that now. We need to connect from day one. More activities, more out of your rooms, more time together, because I think we'd have been more of a team, more together, like each other more. It would have come out in the performances. And I think that's things there that you should definitely be taken on board. Most certainly, if the Jamaica Football Federation, I'm looking at, okay, I wanna bring players into this environment. And by players, I'm obviously talking about new players into the environment, but I'm not trying to create a storm for myself. It is a gamble. It's most certainly a gamble. I mean, these guys played for what? I think it said Gerard went to about 10 major tournaments. I think the article said he went to 10 major. He's played 114 times for England. So he got 114 caps for England. And as I said, he played with some of the greats of the game, the likes of Owen, Beckham, Scholes, Rooney, Cole, just some legends of the game, but these guys could not get on because of that rivalry there. And again, referring to his previous teammates there, played with them for 114 caps as a player, and he's making reference to them being some egotistical losers. And I think, without Gerard saying that, I think we all knew that about England and their players just not liking each other, not wanting to fight for each other. And I guess that's one of my concerns for Jamaica. That's definitely one of my concerns there. I'm just wondering, if you do roll the dice, are we going to see something similar where the Reggae Boyz are concerned? Are we going to be almost like adding to the toxicity? And I am assuming there's some toxicity there already, just because of sort of things that we've heard about in camp. A couple of the things there that's reportedly happened in camp with players again fisting each other up. I'm just wondering if we're about to make matters worse, and do we really want to be taking that high of a risk? And I guess for my biggest concern isn't just about here and now. It's not just about, obviously, as I've already stated, you guys should already know this, looking at that golden generation from England, it doesn't always guarantee you success. England isn't the only example. You can look at different teams. I mean, PSG's I think I might have to end the stream soon, guys, because I don't know what the heck is going on with my internet, but it's having an absolute nightmare. Yeah, so again, I think, aside from England's golden generation, PSG, I think, is another example of bringing the best players together doesn't always give you the rewards and the results that you need. So I think some people in the fan base are probably of the impression that if we bring the best players together, then we're automatically going to be tasting success. I think, again, I'm going to be siding with the likes of Hayden and Amari and also Andre. Like, you don't necessarily need the best players, but if they are going to be bringing on new players who haven't been there from the start, then you definitely need to have a conversation internally with the squad, just because you want to avoid creating any unnecessary tension, which I think is the best option to work with if you're going to be looking to bring new players in the fold. You got to do it in a dignified way. You can't just be doing things with a iron fist, especially knowing that this could potentially not work in your favor either now, because nothing in life is guaranteed. I'm also worried about the future. I'm worried about what this could spell for Jamaica in the future. If we do go ahead and say, I'm getting rid of you, I'm replacing you with you, I kind of look and I think to myself, could this potentially have any implications in us trying to nail down future prospects? So could it be a case of there may be some players out there that's not regarded as the nicest thing since sliced bread, not regarded as the very best of the best or of a certain level? Are they going to be looking at a situation like a Amari Bell and an Isaac Hayden situation and say, well, I'm not committing to you because I saw what you did to other guys that did the groundwork, and at the final hurdle you got rid of them, or when they qualified for the World Cup they didn't go to the World Cup? I just think that you got to tread carefully with what you're doing as a federation, because you may very well just end up with eggs on your faces, either post qualification, hopefully we do qualify, or somewhere way down the line it may turn around to bite us in our asses. Hopefully it doesn't, but I definitely think that is something that's worth consideration. But I do like hearing from the likes of Amari Bell, and also hearing from Isaac Hayden, and also the Captain Fantastic, Andre Blake. I like hearing from the players. I like hearing their opinions. I like hearing, where they stand on certain things. So it was definitely refreshing to hear from those three. And I should think, if that, the captain can't tell people to think, but I trust that if Isaac Hayden and the likes of Bell and Blake are feeling fairly similar with regards to new recruits coming on board, then I do trust and believe that other players are feeling the same. What are we going to do? Get rid of 23 players and bring in 23 new players? That is absolutely ludicrous. Marcus says, Andre, no, he is experienced, so he can't say we don't need best players. Maybe he is right. Yeah, he is experienced. Andre Blake is very experienced. And Andre, I think I do worry, because I think we're approaching that time where, how old is Andre Blake? Let's go have a look at how old he is. I do first of all want him to be a one club man. I want him to see out his career with the Unions. It's not nowadays, we don't really see that, So I'd love, he's 35. He's probably got another half a decade in him. So we may see him for the next World Cup cycle. But my heart is I'm kind of waiting to see if he's going to announce a retirement at international level and just solely focus on club football. I don't think it's far-fetched to see him do that because of, injuries, age and injuries. And sure, I don't think he wants any more disappointment in his life. And if we can't get it right now, easiest World Cup qualification ever, are we ever going to get it right? I think we all want to see Andre Blake play at a World Cup alongside his teammates. But yeah, look, the captain knows best, and so does his teammates. Again, as fans, we don't always know what's best. We're not there on the training ground. We're not there with the team internally. We don't know what works best. There are things there clearly when you look at both articles there, where you're hearing from Hayden, Bell, and also Blakey. There's bigger issues there that we should be trying to iron out. There's definitely bigger issues there, and I don't think that bringing on new players regardless of whether they're a superstar, soon to be superstar or not. I don't think that is going to be the one move that's going to solve all of our problems. Right, but it's an interesting one. It's definitely something that's worth keeping our eyes on. Looking forward to seeing what they do in that regard going forward. Hopefully, the federation bare minimum listens to the likes of Amari Bell and say, let's have a conversation about this, because you gotta do things in a dignified way. You can't just get rid of players at the final hurdle and not even have a conversation with them. I think that's cruel. I think it's heartless, and especially when you have the option to do the opposite. So even if you're going to be moving on and saying that you're not going to be going to the Intercontinental players and subsequently the World Cup, tough pill to swallow, but at least be men, be mature, and have that conversation with the team. You know, again, as fans, we are not always right, and sometimes, not all the times, yes, sometimes we may feel as if, yeah, we know best, but also the players, they must know what's best for their national team. It's not just all about us. Danny Dread, big up yourself. Mr. Galaxy, big up yourself. We need to win we do. We do, because he would be perfect for when the legend Andre Blake bows out. Yeah, I mean, if we can do something to bring Mr. Hibbert on board, we should be pulling out all the stops to do so. We do need to bring him back on board, back into the Jamaica setup. Exactly, Blake. I feel like Blakey's time is coming to an end. It's quite emotional, but I think definitely his time is slowly coming to an end, isn't it? And I wouldn't be surprised if after this World Cup qualifiers, the Intercontinental playoffs, if he even announces a retirement. Would not be surprised. Hopefully not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just says he's focusing on his family, and also being playing for Philadelphia Union. I think it gets to a point in everyone's career where you just want to make sure you're there for your family. Life is precious, tomorrow isn't promised. So he's probably, I don't know, wouldn't be surprised if he's off that frame of mind. So we just have to wait and see what's going to happen with regards to the players, and whether or not they're going to go ahead and get the job done. Hopefully they do go ahead and get the job done, because we need to, don't we? We definitely need to. I think my internet's had an absolute meh tonight. I don't know why that is, but for some reason it's just acting up. I don't know if you guys have any questions for myself in the comment section. If you do, swing them my way before I close off. Thank you to those of you for hitting the like button. Big ups to you guys each and every time. I wanted to get this live stream out the way before the weekend close off, so I figured let's just jump on stream and give you guys that live stream. So yeah, we've seen at times where, again, having the best players on board don't always lead to success. England's golden generation is a perfect example of that. Also, one of my big fears is what happens if we bring a couple of these players on board, and the other players decide they're not going to pass to them. Like, are we going to be having a Kareem Benzema situation? Remember when, I think it was a couple of seasons back now, definitely when he was the Real Madrid player, where he literally was caught on a video recording here about Vinny, and it says Kareem Benzema has reportedly apologized to Vinny Jr. for telling Mendy not to pass to him at halftime. Madrid's 2-2 draw against Borussia Mönchengladbach. I'm sure you guys all remember this particular footage, right? Because I saw it like floating around on social media, and in the clip he says, "Don't play with him. On my mother's life, Vinny is playing against us." Went on to saying the defender was heard replying, "When he becomes scared, he loses what makes him great." So you may even be asking for something that backfires in our face. One, the great players that you guys are asking for may not be so great for us, because Do we have the system that's going to make them great? And also, is this just a short-term thing? Are you looking for long-term gratification? What if the environment becomes so toxic that they don't play for Jamaica again? What if they come into the environment and their teammates aren't passing to them because they're thinking, you don't even deserve to be here. Like, I'm not passing you the ball. So we could be setting up ourselves for something ugly here, guys. Hopefully not, but we could be setting up ourselves for something ugly. See what you're saying there. Bunny Shaw and Man City. Yeah, I spoke about that at the start of the live stream. Hopefully they can go on all the way and win the WSL title. Hopefully they're able to go ahead and win the WSL title. Definitely worth keeping an eye on City and Bunny. Yeah, I don't have nothing to. I'm not going to be going against the winners of the Sportsman and Sportswomen of the Year award. I think there's always going to be some talks there pertaining to why Bunny doesn't get nominated, and after all that she has achieved for, as a Jamaican overseas, for me, best forward in the world. Don't know what she needs to do. They say, it's based on what you do for your country, but convinced that even if we were to, let's say, somehow win the championship or somewhere down the line, a Nations League or a Gold Cup, I reckon she still wouldn't be nominated, let alone win the thing. But thankfully, when it comes to Bunny, she does get the respect that she deserves, in my opinion, overseas. So, like PFA awards, for example, in terms of individual accolades where playing in England is concerned, at least she gets the respect from where she's currently playing. It's just a bit of a shame that her own country isn't recognizing her as being one of the greatest to ever do it. But it's just very typical, isn't it? Think I'm going to have to love you and leave you guys in a short few. I do want to apologize for the quality of the stream wasn't great, completely out of my control. The internet was mucking about tonight. Don't ask me why, but it just kind of had a mind of its own tonight for some reason. Yeah. See if you guys have any more comments in the comment. I think I'm pretty much touched on all the comments in the comment section, unless you guys have anything else that you want me to touch on. Yeah, that's always going to be up for discussion. I think, look, if she wins the WSL this year and she's still not nominated and don't win it because there's no reason for me. I know in terms of how they do the nomination or whatever. I don't think they're going to be making any tweaks to that, but for goodness sake, like, if not, create an award for the footballers so that they can feel the love and appreciation as well. But say if she wins the WSL crown with Man City, I want to see what happens with the next string of nominations and subsequent winner. Want to see what they're going to do and who they're going to be giving that crown to. That's not to say the winner isn't deserving, but would be nice to see Bunny getting the recognition that she deserves on home soil. I think I'm going to take this to 1 hour and 20 minutes, guys. I've been here with you guys for 1 hour and 18. I think I'm going to let this one go to 1 hour and 20 minutes. Thank you to those of you who have hit the like button. Appreciate you guys each and every time. Again, I do apologize for the poor quality of the live stream. Out of my control. I do apologize. I've got another live stream that I want to give you guys. Let me see if I can see what's on my list for you guys. I think I may have actually created this link already. I don't think I'm going to release it yet though. I think I may have actually created it. Let me go into my studio. Check. See. Yeah, I do have something else lined up for you guys, but I'm not going to release the link just yet. Right. Trust that you guys have all had your Sunday dinner. What time is it? My time is coming up to almost 1 a.m. It's almost 8 o'clock Jamaica time. Jamaica and New York and Toronto. Oh, you guys all carry the same time. Okay. All right. Well, it's nighttime for you guys then. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for tuning into my live stream. Um, slowly getting closer and closer to the Intercontinental playoffs. I told you guys so way back over on Ball Pre TV some several weeks back. And interesting to hear that the lads, Isaac Hayden, Maribel, and Andre Blake singing from the same hymn sheet. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you guys, all right? So if you haven't hit the like button, please do go ahead and hit the like button. If you're new to the channel and you like what you have heard, please do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You're saying New York snowed out. I heard about you guys having some snowstorm. Hope you guys stay safe, by the way, across the pond. Stay safe. The ticket prices for the EPL and the WSL keep getting more and more expensive. The matches get closer. Please do a research and tell me the cheapest price to Manchester City. Are you what? Are you coming to the? Are you coming to England? So the Manchester City versus West Ham. You're speaking about the WSL then, aren't you? Because City are playing against Villa on the last day of the season, men. So you're speaking about Manchester City women for the West Ham match, right? Because the men's team are definitely playing against Villa at the Etihad on the final day of the season. But if you're looking to watch a Premier League match, you're going to be, look, the Premier League tickets are expensive. You're not going to be finding that on a cheap, especially the last day of the season. Women's tickets are much cheaper though. So where you were saying £200 for the women's match, I think that's someone trying to scam you. There is no way they're charging £200 because if that's £200, what are you paying £1,000 to watch City versus Aston Villa on the last day of the season? Yeah, tickets are expensive, but not that expensive. So not sure what side. So you said the WSL. Let's see. I don't think it's out. Man City women versus West Ham. Women tickets. I don't know if anything is available, but let me do a quick research for you. Men's tickets. Don't think they've put the fixture out for that one yet. Let's see. I think based on what I can see, I'm on the city website, and they got 2 games coming up, Chelsea and Leicester City. Those are the only 2 tickets that I can see up for grabs. Yeah, I think you probably have to wait closer to the time for that one. I'm still looking for you, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, I think you might have to. Looks like you're gonna have to wait a little while for that one because I think these tickets they become available closer to the time, closer to the game itself. So you're gonna have to wait a little while there, Danny. So Danny Dread is coming to England, is he? Look at you. Someone's made out of money. Dread coming to England. All right. I hope you have a safe flight. Hope you are well. Good evening to yourself. My advice for you, Danny Dread, is to use the club website when you're searching for tickets. There's no way that you should be paying £200 to go watch Man City versus West Ham women on the final day of the season. That is a robbery. So yeah, just use the club websites and should be able to find tickets for a decent price. I think that's me done, guys. I've been saying that for a minute now, right? I don't think you guys have anything else for me in the comment section. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. It's like the 5th time I've said that. Let's see if there's anything else that needs doing. Nope. All right, so let me close off. All right, so guys, thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. If you have not hit the like button, please do go ahead and hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, your Sunday nights. Also have a fabulous new week. Happy Monday when it comes, and you know how it goes. Until next time, take care. We built this out of love, out of pride, shining a light from the island to the diaspora to the world. A golden beacon of sports, music, and everything in between. The very best of Jamaica. We little, but we're Talawa.